authority for the special formal tender, we need to know who gave that authority. Because that is the crux of the whole thing. Because I don't want to get ahead of us on our questions, but it is crucial that we know who gave the permission and agreed to the special formal tenders being the process. Thank you.
We expressed disappointment that ZESA did not come armed, number one, with the relevant personnel that was present at the time, either at board level or at management level, that would have helped this committee in answering the specific questions that arise out of the 2019 forensic report. Our disappointment is exacerbated by the fact that you brought a large team to our committee, and that large team gave us hope that you had the arsenal in that huge team to answer the questions. However, we reiterate that our questions will be thorough and they arise from the forensic report of PricewaterhouseCoopers. So they'll be very thorough, very micro. I'm sure you have seen what we do in this committee. Some of your members have seen what we do in this committee. We're extremely thorough. We ask issues around legal compliance, the Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act, your own enabling acts. So legal compliance, formal compliance, particularly, and in this case, this will keep on rising and rising and rising. The Procurement Act, as it then stood. We'll then ask you questions on the accounting issues raised by the auditors. For instance, just to give you one example, why did you allow PME of India to deliver goods that had not been placed on order? Things like that. Why did you pay for the demurrage, not PME? Just to give you an example. The areas which we're going to focus on, again for your benefit, are number one, the PME Zend agreement and everything that took place from transformers to training to the warehouse to substations and so forth, in great detail. Number two, the US $35 million Afrexim agreement, again very forensic. Who signed that agreement? Was parliamentary approval obtained? What were the terms of the term sheet? What was the money used for? Why were there variations in the things that were supposed to be done? The substation, for instance. Who gave that order? Under what authority? Number three, the DEMA 200 megawatts diesel power plant. Some of the issues you have raised them yourself. Why were we contracting it at 30 cents a kilowatt instead of at 5 cents? Why was Secunda preferred over the three companies that the ZESA units had already approved? What was special? What was so special about Secunda? Number three, we will ask a lot of questions on the DEMA solar agreement with Indratech. Why wasn't the issue why did it go to tender, for instance? Why were monies disbursed when there was no performance by the contractor? Questions around that. All these issues are in the report. We will not ask anything in the report. So we urge that the team you bring must have a thorough knowledge of the forensic, report around all these contracts, specifics. So the Secunda project, for instance, what were the terms thereof? There are some things that are not mentioned in the report which we are aware of. There were concessions given in respect of VAT, concessions given in respect of fuel as payment, or the importation of fuel as payment. We would like to know so that we're able to tell Parliament. If we have to call other people, which is likely, the evidence which we'll get from you as ZESA in generic terms is our primary evidence. Then if we have to call OPC, we'll call OPC. If we have to call former Secretary Mbiriri, we'll call former Secretary Mbiriri. If we have to call former ministers, Mavaire, Mangoma, we'll call them. Who else was there? Dr. Undenge. I'm not sure whether he's still in Korobi, but wherever he is, if we have to call him, we'll call him. Deputy Minister Munachi Mtezo, he got a donation at his victory party. We might call those, those persons. But you are the primary, source. I want to emphasize, Engineer Gata, that our inquiry is not adversarial. In other words, it's not you versus us. It's about the people of Zimbabwe. So it's an inquisitorial, approach that we take. But sometimes it gets reduced to adversarial when people refuse to answer questions, or take us for granted, or think we don't read, or think we are idiots. We might look like idiots, but we are not idiots.
These are questions of detail, and we are giving responses under oath. And in this particular case, unfortunately, we did not get an advance notice of these individual questions. And as such, I don't think it should be difficult, now that we know them, to respond in writing, in detail, within this week. I believe you gave us 7 days. We can do so.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.